Did you know there is a code hidden in the very architecture of the universe? A numerical pattern that pulses like a sacred heartbeat at the core of creation? Nikola Tesla, one of humanity's greatest geniuses, once said, "If you knew the magnificence of the numbers 3, 6, and 9, you would have the key to the universe." But why these numbers? And more importantly, what does this have to do with your life, your dreams, and your reality? Maybe you've tried to manifest something and wondered why nothing seems to change. Maybe you feel like you're doing everything right. Affirmations, visualizations, good intentions, yet reality remains the same. What's missing is not more effort, but vibrational alignment with the field that already contains what you desire. Bruce Lipton reminds us, your beliefs shape your biology, and your biology influences your frequency. Joe Dispenza adds, "You cannot shift into a new reality while maintaining the same energetic identity." Transformation begins when you live today as the one who has already accessed tomorrow. And this is where the 369 code is revealed. It is not superstition nor magic. It is a vibrational map, a numerical language that translates the natural cycle of creation in the universe and within you. In this video, you will understand how to use this frequency to plant, activate, and seal your new reality with coherence and presence. From the very moment you awaken, something invisible is already being emitted from you. Even before opening your eyes, your vibration, built from your emotions, beliefs, and thoughts, has already begun a dialogue with the quantum field. It is not what you think in isolation that shapes your reality, but what you vibrate consistently. This invisible field, as Greg Braden explains, is always around you, silently listening to your energetic signature. The universe, unlike human logic, does not respond to loose words, but to vibrational coherence. Every sensation, emotion, and intention you sustain sends a clear message, "This is me now," and the field returns it in form. When you understand that everything is frequency, you begin to realize you are not at the mercy of chance. You are, at all times, a transmitter. And like a radio signal, what you transmit determines what you receive. Reality, therefore, is not a reflection of what you desire, but of what you vibrate most strongly and consistently. This means your internal state has priority over external circumstances. You may not control the events around you, but you can choose how to vibrate in response to them, and that choice changes everything. Frequency is the language of the universe, and when you learn to use it consciously, manifestation becomes natural, not accidental. There are no shortcuts, no tricks. The path begins with recognition. My energy is my responsibility. My reality is my projected frequency. From that point on, you stop seeking outwardly and begin adjusting inwardly, where everything truly starts. One of the greatest illusions on the spiritual path is believing that desiring something intensely is enough to manifest it. The truth, though uncomfortable to the ego, is simple. You don't manifest what you desire, you manifest what you are. The quantum field is not impressed by words, lists, or promises. It responds only to your dominant vibration. Desiring something with the mind, while the body vibrates scarcity or fear, is like trying to light a lamp with disconnected wires. The intention exists, but the energy does not flow. The vibration that truly creates is not in the words you say, but in the silent emotion you sustain deep within your chest. That is why so many people become frustrated with affirmations and visualizations that seem not to work. It's not that the technique is wrong, it's that it is being used without coherence. When you say, "I am abundant," but inside you feel needy, the field does not respond to the phrase but to the real emotion. Internal incoherence cancels the request. True manifestation happens when your entire body believes what your mind declares. When your cells, your heart, and your presence embody the vibrational state of what you wish to live. In that moment, there is no longer separation between I want and I am. The field recognizes, resonates, and responds. Manifestation, then, is not about attracting something distant. It is about remembering who you already are in essence, and vibrating as that version until the world around you reflects that truth. Manifestation is less about effort and more about stable frequency, lived authentically. Nikola Tesla, considered one of the greatest inventors and visionaries in history, did not see the universe merely as a mechanical system, but as a profoundly energetic and vibrational structure. He once said, "If you want to understand the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." And within this understanding, he highlighted something even more enigmatic, the numbers 3, 6, and 9. Tesla believed these three numbers were the key to deciphering the secrets of creation. Not as mystical superstition, but as precise vibrational codes reflected in the patterns of nature, sacred geometry, music, and even the structure of time. For him, everything that was truly creative followed a structure based on these numbers. The number 3 appears in countless universal structures: past, present, and future, body, mind, and spirit, birth, life, and death. The number 6 represents movement, harmony, balance. Think of the 6 sides of a cube, the 6 points of the Star of David. And the number 9, the most mysterious of all, was seen by Tesla as the number of completion, of transcendence, of returning to the One. Curiously, when we observe number patterns in vortex mathematics, a field that studies the energetic flow within numbers, 3, 6, and 9 never mix with the others. They form a separate circuit, almost as if they were the backbone of a higher frequency. The mystery Tesla pointed to is exactly this. These numbers not only represent creative forces, they are portals of alignment with the quantum field. Understanding their deeper meaning is the first step. Applying that understanding vibrationally is what creates transformation. Within the vibrational universe Tesla studied so deeply, the numbers 3, 6, and 9 form more than just a mathematical pattern. They describe the complete cycle of manifestation. Each one represents a specific phase of energetic creation, like stages that all reality must go through before becoming visible. The number 3 represents the creative principle. It is the spark, the moment intention is born. It is the sudden inspiration, the idea that emerges from silence, the inner yes that ignites willpower. This is the first vibration, the point where energy begins to move, even if nothing has materialized yet. The number 6 symbolizes activation. It is when energy begins to take shape. At this point, the initial impulse finds direction. Emotions intensify, thoughts organize, and the body begins to align. It is the bridge between the invisible and the tangible, where intention transforms into vibrational preparation. The number 9 represents completion. It is the point where energy becomes stable enough to manifest as experience. It is not the end of the process, but the moment when the invisible becomes real. Here, vibration sustained long enough collapses into form. It is the universe's silent amen. When you begin to see these numbers as energetic stages and not just symbols, you realize you can use this code consciously to align your manifestation process. Plant, 6, activate, 9, seal. This is the pulse of creation, within the universe and within you. Unlike the linear way we were taught to think, the process of manifestation follows a spiraling flow. This means nothing moves in a straight line, but in expanding cycles, repeating patterns on higher and higher levels. The 369 code is the numerical representation of this movement. When you use the numbers 3, 6, and 9 as reference points to align your vibration, you begin to consciously participate in the creative cycle. The number 3 initiates the movement. It is the starting point, the seed planted in the field. The number 6 continues it. It nurtures, moves, and energizes the desire. And the number 9 seals, it stabilizes the vibration, closing the cycle with presence and surrender. This cycle doesn't happen just once. It repeats daily, with every thought, every choice, every breath. Just like the phases of the moon, the seasons of the year, or the beating of the heart, manifestation follows a natural rhythm. When you honor this rhythm, creation becomes fluid and organic. Most people interrupt this cycle before it completes. They plant the intention but don't nurture it, or they nurture it with anxiety without trusting the timing of the harvest. The result? Unstable vibrations that send mixed signals to the field. It's like planting a seed and digging it up every day to see if it's growing. Understanding the 369 cycle is accepting that manifestation is not a sudden event, but a continuous vibrational process. When you learn to stay present in each phase, without hurry, without doubt, the universe begins to respond more and more clearly. And what once seemed distant naturally begins to draw near. Right when you wake up, you are in the most receptive state of your day. The mind is still between sleep and wakefulness, with brain waves in a slower frequency. like the theta state. It's at this moment that the subconscious is most accessible, ready to receive commands with less rational resistance. Here begins the power of the number 3, creation. Using this moment to repeat your affirmation 3 times is not an empty ritual. It is a conscious way of planting the seed of what you want to live. It's not about saying, "I want this," but about affirming with presence, "I am this." By repeating with intention, you are programming your energetic field before the stimuli of the world interfere. This repetition should not be mechanical. The key is to feel. As you repeat your declaration, whether "I am abundance," "I am peace," or "I am health," involve your whole body in the corresponding feeling. Imagine, visualize, and allow your body to feel as if it were already real. This is the moment to create a small vibrational field that will expand throughout the day. Think of this process as watering the first drop of your inner garden. You are programming the vibration that will be emitted for hours, and the more sincere and coherent this first vibration of the day is, the more the quantum field can align with it. The morning practice with the number 3 is the beginning of the spiral. It is the spark of creation. By choosing with intention how you want to feel and what you want to vibrate, you stop reacting to the day and start to create the day. And this is how manifestation becomes natural, because it was born from conscious choice at the very first moment. As the day goes on, your mind has already been exposed to dozens of stimuli. News, conversations, unexpected events, and automatic thoughts begin to compete with the vibration you planted in the morning. It is natural to become misaligned. That's why midday is the ideal moment to recalibrate, and here enters the power of the number 6. The number 6 symbolizes activation, movement, and vibrational continuity. By repeating your affirmation 6 times in the middle of the day, you are not just reaffirming an idea, you are anchoring the chosen frequency once again. It's like adjusting the radio dial when it starts to drift off tune. You return to your axis. This practice works like a vibrational reminder. It interrupts reactive patterns, emotional distractions, and mental detours that have been building up. By pausing for a few minutes and repeating your affirmation with intention and emotion, you rebuild the field that had begun to fragment. Remember, coherence is keeping your vibration stable even in the face of external changes. This midday repetition doesn't need to be long. It can happen silently, while breathing deeply, walking, or simply pausing. What matters is not the place, but the emotional presence with which you practice. The 6 is the turning point. It is when you choose between continuing on autopilot or reclaiming your role as creator of your reality. With just a few minutes of realignment, you activate once more the pulse of manifestation and strengthen the bridge between intention and materialization. The end of the day is not the closure of manifestation. It is the most powerful moment to seal it. When you are about to sleep, the conscious mind relaxes and the subconscious takes over. And whatever is nurtured in this state continues to reverberate during sleep, interacting with the quantum field without interference. That's why repeating your affirmation 9 times before sleep is not superstition. It is vibrational sealing. The number 9 represents completion, the closing of a cycle. It is the point where you hand over to the field, with trust, the vibration you sustain throughout the day. Here, you do not force, you do not beg, you do not desire. You simply confirm, it is already done. By wrapping your declaration with elevated emotions, gratitude, peace, love, you create an energetic seal. This vibration will remain active for hours, shaping dreams, calming the nervous system, and consolidating the identity you wish to embody. It is like energetically signing what was declared in the morning and nurtured at midday. This moment is also precious for releasing resistance. Before sleep, you can say inwardly, "It is done." With that, you send the field a signal of trust, not lack. Because when you truly believe something has already been delivered, you rest, and it is in that rest that creation consolidates. The nightly sealing with the number 9 is the final gesture of coherence. You end the day with the same vibration you chose to begin with. And when this repeats for days, weeks, and months, the universe understands. You are ready. And then it begins to reorganize reality around this new stable frequency. Many people become frustrated with spiritual practices because they believe that simply repeating words is enough to make something change. But the quantum field does not react to how many times you say something. It responds to the vibrational quality with which you feel it. True manifestation happens when repetition turns into resonance. Repeating without presence is like knocking on a door with cotton gloves. It makes no impact. But when you repeat while feeling, living, embodying that reality, even if only for a few seconds, your vibration shifts, and that shift is what the field recognizes. You are not saying what you want, you are vibrating who you already are. Emotion is the most powerful conductor of this resonance. Gratitude, joy, and love are not just elevated feelings. They are clear vibrational signals, which the universe understands as coherence. When you unite words, inner images, and bodily sensations, you turn the practice into a living experience, not a mechanical habit. That's why the 369 code works not as a magic number, but as a structure of consciousness. It invites you to step out of mental repetition and into a continuous vibrational state. You begin the day with intention, realign with awareness, and surrender with trust. This is the cycle that creates reality. Once you understand this, you stop counting repetitions and start cultivating presence. What matters is not how many times you say it, but how many times you truly feel it. True vibration doesn't lie, and the field cannot be deceived by words. Manifestation is not about convincing the universe. It is about becoming an antenna compatible with what already exists. At the heart of all true manifestation is coherence, not perfection, but harmony between what you think, feel, and do. When your mind says, "I am," your body vibrates yes, and your actions move in the same direction. The universe does not hesitate. It responds with synchronicity, because the quantum field does not reward effort, but vibrational alignment. Incoherence, on the other hand, sends out confusing signals. It's like trying to tune into two stations at once. One part of you affirms abundance, while another part vibrates scarcity. And what does the field do? It reflects the dominant signal, almost always the one sustained by the body and unconscious emotions. That's why positive thinking alone is not enough. You must live in alignment. Research from the HeartMath Institute shows that coherent states between heart and brain create an ordered, measurable electromagnetic field. This field not only affects your physical well-being, but also interacts directly with the surrounding field, influencing situations, encounters, and even unexpected events. That's when life starts to feel magical. But it isn't magic. It's vibrational science in action. The 369 code is a tool to strengthen this coherence. The three practices throughout the day, morning, midday, and night, act as pillars that sustain your vibration. And the more stable this vibration becomes, the more predictable the universe's response. Not because it is testing you, but because it is mirroring exactly what you sustain with clarity. When you become coherent, you no longer need to chase manifestation. Reality begins to reorganize around you, like puzzle pieces falling naturally into place. The field understands your vibration as a command, and everything in resonance with it begins moving in your direction. In this state, manifestation stops being the exception and becomes the consequence. The true power of 369 is not in the numbers themselves, but in the vibrational state you activate when practicing them with intention, presence, and emotion. They are symbolic reminders of a universal cycle: creation, activation, and completion. When you begin to honor these moments of your day as portals of manifestation, you start to live much more consciously and in alignment. Bruce Lipton shows us that changing subconscious beliefs transforms biology, and as a result, the field of reality around us. Joe Dispenza proves through neuroscience that the brain and body reorganize when you embody the identity of your future self. The 369 code is a tool to anchor this identity with consistency and clarity. It's not about repeating to convince the universe, but about becoming what you want to experience. When emotion accompanies intention, and when presence is part of the practice, you are not just asking, you are collapsing a new timeline where what once felt distant becomes natural. Repetition with emotion creates resonance. Resonance generates coherence, and coherence activates the quantum field with precision. That is why, more important than knowing how many times to repeat, is living each repetition as a vibrational seal of the reality you have already decided to manifest. Life does not respond to your effort, it responds to your vibration. And when that vibration is cultivated with awareness, at sunrise, midday, and sunset, the field begins to echo back with synchronicities, opportunities, and real transformations. Manifestation stops being a promise and becomes an inevitable consequence of your coherence.